Right about now, it's time for book chats. And of course, I have a lovely lady sitting on the couch. So today, the book in review is Lara's Lessons, right? And this book is actually written by Ronke Giwa-Onafuwa. Okay, so she is, of course, also a media personality. And of course, she'll be telling us all about herself right about now. Hi, Lara. How are you doing?
Did you call me Lara?
I just call you Lara. Yes, I did. Hi, Ronke.
Hi.
How are you doing?
You look beautiful. I'm doing great.
Thank you. You look great as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Socks and
I know.
the pop of color.
I know. So to just keep a little chic this morning.
Definitely. Okay, now tell me about yourself. You happen to be a media personality.
Yes, I'm
amongst
a media
other things.
Yes, and an author as well.
Nice, nice.
So yes, I'm a media personality, an author. I'm a content creator. I'm a mom. Yeah.
That's not all you. There's a foundation where you.
Yes. I have a foundation called Who's That Girl, where I bring girls together, and I bring inspiring speakers who can challenge and inspire young girls. I also have a community for new moms called Talk Mommy on Instagram as well, where moms can get support and stuff like that.
So yeah. So much.
I do so. Yeah.
How are you doing so much?
This is fun. I'm a very restless person, and I like to do a lot of things. I hate being bored or not having enough to do. So I'm always finding stuff to do to add to the many things I do already. So yeah, it's great.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so now let's talk about Lara's Lessons. Sorry, I'll call you Lara today. Your name is Lara.
Okay. Yeah, that's
okay,
fine.
So now, I mean, going through the book, the first few pages, and I was just in Lara's head, and I'm like, oh, wow. Somebody should we tell Lara?
I know, right? Exactly.
Should we actually tell her? So now tell me, what exactly got you to the point of writing this book? Why did you see the need to actually say, you know what, I need to do something like this?
Yeah, I got to that point where I felt like I needed to be the person that I needed when I was younger. We all remember when we were adolescents and teenagers, and we made such stupid mistakes, did weird things. And for a lot of us, we didn't have that person who could connect with us enough to lead us on the right path. They were good role models, but I didn't feel like there were many that could, that spoke my language.
Tell us genuinely.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm just basically being that person that I wish I had when I was younger. I find that when I'm around adolescent young people, I connect very easily.
Oh, nice.
So I thought, hey, put in the book in a way that they also don't feel like you're talking at them.
Yeah, true.
But yes, because I think that's the one thing that you don't want to do to adolescents. Write a book that says 4 ways to be more. So that's why I wrote in the fiction.
Yes, and I love the fact that, yes, it's actually in fiction form. You can actually see the story and you can enjoy the story. However, there are very important lessons that are actually in the book, like the first chapter talking about adulting and all of that. And of course, there's one also on kindness. So tell me, out of all 10 chapters, which is your favorite?
I would have to say the lesson about association, which is where, and it's actually loosely based around something that happened to me, which is where Lara meets a girl and thinks, oh, you know what, I mean, I can be friends with this person, even though I know that they're bad for me, but it's okay, I can just talk. But then this girl starts to convince her to start hanging out with some older guys, and then she almost got raped, So, yeah, something like that happened to me when I was younger, but that's my favorite to tell because I mean, adolescents must understand that the association you keep, the kind of people you keep around you can greatly impact you, for good or bad. So it's important to choose your friends wisely and be careful. Don't take it for granted. Oh, don't worry, I can be friends with you,
Absolutely. Very true. And now there's also a chapter talking about social media, the use of social media. I mean, we're in that age now and all of that. So what would you say was the message we're trying to pass across in that particular chapter?
I mean, I'm a mom, and then I'm also a content creator, so I know I spend a lot of time on social media, and I still have a lot of work to do, and I still find I'm trying to drag myself off social media. So I can imagine for a lot of adolescents, parents generally are often frustrated because once they get the phone, it's like you can't get through. They're in another world. You're trying to, get their attention, and it's just really hard. So for me, I mean, that chapter was talking about how Lara, told her parents she needed a phone, and they eventually got it for her. And then, I mean, she just got lost in that world, like a lot of adolescents do. So for me, the message is not that don't get a phone, but it's that you have to be mature enough to know how to, to set your boundaries. And also, because Lara got involved with some stranger online, almost sent nudes, So it's really just to be careful. Don't put anything online or even on your phone that you don't want to get out. So it's a strong message that I really do hope that young people
actually get. I mean, amazing story. So now what I noticed is that each chapter had stories in them. So there's that part of you that actually generates stories. Tell me about that part.
Yes. I mean, I love stories. I've been reading since, I was really young. My parents, my mom especially, has been reading Mills and Boons since when I was born. So absolutely. So we're exposed to books. So I've always loved stories. And even when I didn't like to read books, my older sister was the storyteller. So for example, if I had a book in literature that I didn't read before the exam, she would tell the story in such a compelling way that I would write the exam and get an A. You know, so we're a family of readers and storytellers, and so for me, there were some parts where I struggled because it's not easy to write fiction.
It is not.
It is really hard, but I mean, I'm glad that I'm able to tell the story in a way that it's still enjoyable, but still sends a message.
Sends a message. Amazing. So now, let me ask the question. How long did it take you to write this?
It took about a year.
Okay.
Yes, and I've heard authors that have said it's taking about 5 years to write a book. It took about a year. I mean, for me, even though it was longer before that I conceptualized the book, but it took about a year to write because I was very deliberate and very careful about how to weave the story without putting people off, for it to be a story, even though I got a lot of inspiration from my girls as well. And so I always ask, is this, because I mean, last time I was a teenager was years ago.
Of course.
So I needed to know what's happening now. And
true,
so I get stop, get inspiration from younger people. So if you're in this situation, what would you do? And then they tell me, and then I, weave it into a story. So it took about a year, but yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so now let's talk about the foundation, which actually also inspired this book, right? So what was the prompting for that?
For that too, it was just more my knack for always, just being very relaxed around adolescent and vice versa. So I'll be around 14-year-old, 15-year-olds, and they'll be telling me things that they couldn't tell their parents. And so for me, I always just told your parents that at least as long as your children have good role models, your children may not necessarily tell you everything. Because obviously, no matter how cool, I mean, I am cool, but my girls still think I am still uncool.
Yeah, mom, you can never be too cool.
Absolutely, for your children. So for me, I started that foundation because I wanted adolescent girls, especially, to have a place where you could come together. Say things, they would hear things that their mom would always say, but you think, because when your mom says things to you, you think, oh, whatever. But then somebody else, maybe it's like, Winfrey says something, the same thing, and then, wow, that's so that's just, adolescents think, that's just how they are. So I just would bring them into this auditorium, invite speakers, and I used to get really great speakers, and just challenge and inspire them. So for me, it was the inspiration was just to bring girls together, challenge and inspire them so they make better decisions.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So now, your girls, how old are they?
So I have an 18-year-old, Jaddy is 18, Pamimo is 15.
Wow.
And my baby of the house is 4, Tobani.
Okay, how did you do that? And still look like this?
Well, let's just say to the glory of God. But yeah.
Are you for real? So now have they read this book and what do you think?
Yes. I mean, I read it aloud. Whilst we're editing as well, I had to read aloud. So I think they're bored of so I read it aloud various times. Even whilst I was writing out, checking with them as well. So yes, they have read the book.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I love your energy, your vibe. I feel it's 100%. Thank you. I think this book is very, very important, and like a lot of people need to definitely read this or get this across to their kids to help them go through life. Thank you so much, Ronke,
Thank you for having me, Winfrey.
And okay, so right about now, we'll be going on a quick break, and when we come back, Wake Up Nigeria continues.